Happy Friday, everybody. 2 spins since I forgot to do one yesterday. How's it going? Welcome to the last day of the first week of our daily creative challenge for Photoshop. Very good to have you here. Aria is giving us the countdown. Thank you, Aria. That's awesome. Love the hype. Let us know if you're watching in chat by giving me a little message. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have a spinny chair, can you spin in it? We can all do it together. Yes, a bonus spin, Sam. You got it. What's up, Chad? I know, you're waiting for the chair spin for sure. If you are new to the Daily Creative Challenge, it is not too late to register. You can go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop to get in on the action, but thanks for being here. It's really good to see you all. Let's see, we have Aurelia is watching from Denmark. Awesome. Sarah is in ATL. Very cool, Atlanta. Valentine, hello. Kristen says waves while at work. She's lurking. We'll be very quiet. Don't get in trouble. This is educational. Jordan says, I could spin, but I'm at work. Jordan, you coward. Just kidding. Don't get in trouble. Although, getting in trouble for spinning? I don't know. They should have some more fun. What's up, Jess from Nashville, Tennessee? Good to see you. Cecilia says, I can spin. Yay! Spin with me. Alrighty. So, if you want to check out what's going to be going on, what's on the docket for today, you can always come to this landing page, scroll on down, and check out what challenge was unlocked. So we are going to be working on masks today. We're going to be making an album cover, combining a portrait with some texture and combining them with masks. We've talked a little bit about masks in previous days, like clipping masks. Masks. There's lots of going on. But today we're going to be specifically working on selected mask and select subject and some fun stuff. Makes your Photoshop life a lot easier. Jordan says, I probably wouldn't get in trouble, but I'd get weird looks and questions. Then you can tell them about the Adobe live stream. It's the perfect segue. Cheryl says, hello from Florida. Dick says, hello from Spain. Hello. And Kay is in Antonio, Texas. Awesome. So today we're going to be going over this select and mask workflow to make this album cover. We're also going to be looking at Discord for some of the work that you've all posted in previous days. If you don't know what Discord is, it's an awesome chat server where we can be posting our works in progress, getting feedback. If you come to Discord and go to current challenge, you can see people's work. Sam is giving awesome feedback. Thank you, Sam. You're always on top of things. So if you post your work here, look forward to some good feedback. And you can also provide feedback to other people. So don't feel like you don't have a voice. It's very, very helpful. And if you want to join Discord, there's a really easy link to do so. It's bit.ly/PSDiscord. Really easy. It'll take you to an invite link, and you can do it on your phone, on the web, or on your desktop. Timothy's in Oakland. Very nice. You want to learn more about masks? Well, you are in the right place. And I do want to remind you all that we are going to be taking the weekend off, so we don't have a DCC tomorrow or Sunday, but we will be back on Monday morning, bright and early, especially for another week of Adobe Live. Okay, so let's jump into this. If you want to work on similar files that I'm working on, you can click this Get Started button, and that will take you to some Dropbox links. Now, I provided for you the photos that are still watermarked because they're not licensed. You can practice with them. And then if you really love your design, you are welcome to go to Adobe Stock and license them for yourself. Alrighty. So here is our template. I've just downloaded the template from the Dropbox and opened it and plopped my images in. Now, this is kind of similar to what we're going to be making today. It looks a little dark on the screen, but we're going to be using masks to duplicate our figure and then some textures to kind of make it look like her head is coming apart, that she is out of her mind. Then we're going to be working with this cool brush stroke texture behind her just to add a little bit of dimension to the design. And we've worked with text in the last couple of days, so hopefully that is self-explanatory. Leah says, hi everybody, just made it. You're just in time. We're just jumping into Photoshop. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I want to remove this figure from the background because I want to be able to just work with her head and not have to worry about any of this blue background behind her. I've already done that with this top image, but I'm going to show you how to do it super easily in Photoshop. So with your photo layer selected, I'm going to go to one of my selection tools. Usually I just go to the quick select. So that is this icon right over here. And something that is similar or new-ish in Photoshop are these two options up here. We've got select subject and select and mask. Now if I click select subject, check out what happens. Magic. So that is the magic of Adobe Sensei. They're taking all the information from this image and trying to predict to the best of its ability what the subject is and cut it out for you. So you used to have to be able to go in here with a pen tool or your mouse and perfectly cut out everything by hand, maybe use some paths and handles. Ugh, such a time waste. Now it's pretty much perfect. Now we can go in here and clean up her hair a little bit, but a lot of the work is done for us. If I wanted to just mask this right now with this selection, I would go down here to this quick select or quick mask button. Check that out. And if you click it, the background is now masked. You can see it by the black in this thumbnail and the white is revealed. I'm gonna undo that though by doing Command Z, or you can just go to Edit, Undo. So with this selection, let's go from select subject to select and mask. So I'm up here in the control bar, select and mask, there it is. Click it, it's gonna open up this workspace for you. What's up, Anna? Good to see ya. So this is the select and mask workspace. You can always kind of zoom out using the magnifier tool. Zoom out a little bit. Perfect, or even zoom back in by doing the Command plus or just clicking. So this looks pretty good. Like I said, select subject did a good job of selecting, especially around this hoodie. It's pretty nice and clean, but around the hair, it's a little bit rough. Let's zoom in a little bit. We can even turn down this opacity a bit so we can see what's really not being selected, like right here. Some of the hairs aren't being selected, and we have a tool specifically for that. It's called the Refine Edge tool. It is over here in the toolbar. You can see it's kind of like little hairs, little jagged edges being selected. So when we click that, I'm going to zoom in just to show you how this goes and click over her hair. Look at that detail. It's amazing. Nancy says this is my first time viewing you live. Hello, Nancy. I am live. Thanks for being here. I know, Sam, this is a great tool. So I'm just going to kind of go around the majority of her hair, especially up here where it's a little bit rough. Now she has all these cute little flyaways. Love it. All right, and you don't have to do every single edge. Like maybe right here it looks pretty smooth. Don't need to add any detail there. But right here where her bangs end and they're kind of falling, definitely want to add that. And then right here you can see there's a little bit of her eyelash peeking out here. So let's also grab that. There it is, a little lash action. Sarah says, just woke up. Good morning, Sarah. Alrighty. Let's go around here. Maybe go back to the quick selection tool. Make our brush smaller by using the bracket key. So left bracket is smaller, right bracket is bigger. And I'm just gonna click in here a little bit. Oops, need to deselect it. So to deselect, instead of select, you can come up here and just click this minus, or you can hold Option or Alt. Whoops. Yep, so I'm holding Option, and that allows you to kind of go between selecting and deselecting pretty quickly. So I need to go back and select this, hold Option, erase that. Looks pretty good. Okay, now you'll notice that there's a little bit of this blue cast on her hoodie from the light and bouncing off the backdrop in the actual room. If you don't want that, like say we wanted to put her on a red background, we can use this slider or this selection over here called Decontaminate Colors, and that should remove a lot of that blue. Yeah, it did a pretty good job right here, although there's still some here. But we don't need that because the background is going to stay blue. Okay. This looks pretty good. You can always come over here to the sliders too and play with these global refinements. So if you need a nice and smooth selection, you can increase that. If you need to shift the edge, so if you have kind of a rough selection but you shift the edge inward, you get sometimes a little bit of a result. So we could shift in a little bit there. All right, and then down here in output 2, I usually like to do new layer with layer mask. So it's gonna make a duplicate of the layer and add the layer mask there. Let's select that and click OK. Let's see what happens. That's a nice selection right there. Look at the hair. Can you even believe? That's amazing. Here it looks a little bit rough, and we could jump back into there and make more refinements by going back into select and mask. It's live since it's still a live mask, but we don't have the time right now, so do that at your own leisure. Okay, so let's add the blue background back behind her because we definitely need that. I'm just gonna make a new layer, come down here, and I could use the gradient tool, I could use the fill bucket tool. Something else you can do is just use the solid color layer. So if I go to my adjustment layers and do solid color, choose maybe that nice kind of cornflowery blue that she already had. Awesome. And that makes its own layer. And then I can come in here, double click this thumbnail, and change colors as I see fit. Ooh, maybe a little bit darker. I like that. Okay, hey Vandam, good to see you. We're just getting started. I just used the select and mask workflow, and you can always rewind, rewatch, and ask your fellow chatmates if you have any questions. Alrighty, so we have our figure. Now let's get to kind of making her head explode in a cool way. This is a cool thing. All right, so we already did the top version as well. We're gonna keep that turned off. I'm gonna actually move both of these layers down a little bit, so we have more room for her head to move upwards. With both my layers selected, I'm gonna come over here to my move tool. You can also just tap V, that's the hotkey for it. I'm just gonna grab it. You'll see these magenta lines up here, those are smart guides. So that's letting me know when I'm kind of perfectly aligned right in the middle, which is what I want. All right, we're gonna go for like 2 explosions. So I think that's enough room for 2. Seems good. Alrighty, so here comes the fun part. I know you have the little head exploding emoji, Dawn. Nice. Here comes the fun part. We are going to duplicate this layer. You can do that by dragging the layer down to the new layer icon. Let's turn off the bottom one so we're just working with this duplicate. And let's move it up a little bit. Oops. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, cool. If I move it up a little bit, you'll see that it still has this duplicate underneath it. We're moving it up, looks good. And we're gonna go back to the original and let's mask out the top of her head. So if I zoom in a little bit and I use my brush tool, I have some cool textured brushes from Kyle T. Webster's Mega Pack. If you have a CC subscription, you have access to this brush pack for free, and there's literally hundreds of brushes for you. If you want to go download it, you can click this cog when you have the brush tool selected. Click Get More Brushes, and it's going to take you to the download page. If you're logged into CC, you'll see a bunch of different packs here, and I'm using the Mega Pack. Alrighty, so I am using in the paint box the Big Bad Wolf Tilt. Has some really nice texture in here. I'm going to increase the size of my brush by going here, dragging the slider up. You can also use the bracket keys. And with my mask selected, see it is highlighted so the focus is on it. I can click this or I can click this. Let's keep the focus on the mask. I'm going to make sure that I am using black to hide the layer. Remember, black hides it and white reveals. So we're going to use black, and let's erase some of her nice bowl cut out of here. We're going to get rid of some of the top of her shoulders. So this is really where the explosion is starting from. We might even get rid of even more than I was planning. Let's go kind of crazy with it. Cool. It already looks pretty sweet, right? Now, if we come back to this duplicated layer, we're going to turn it on, go to our mask, and we're going to mask out everything else. So I'm using black to hide it. Let's just erase this really quick. We can also use the lasso tool quickly. So I'm using lasso by typing L. I'm going to draw a selection around this. And I'm going to fill with my foreground color by doing Option Delete. So when I did that, look over here in the mask, if I do Option Delete, you'll see that I'm filling this selection with black. All right, select deselect. Cool, that just gets rid of it quickly so we don't have to stay here scribbling things. Love it, looks good. Part of the cool thing about the first example I showed you was that the head was kind of like offset from itself. So I'm even gonna grab this layer and move it over a little bit. Looks good, and we still have some of the original image not masked out over here, so I'm making a selection, Option Delete, fill it with black. Okay, sweet. Now let's integrate this first face into here as well. I want it to be kind of obvious that these are from different photos, so it's clear that in this photo she's looking away because you can see the back of her neck and the bottom of her chin, but here she's looking over her shoulder. So if I were to kind of mash these together, it would feel kind of otherworldly and strange. What's up, Paul? Paul, they're gonna be doing a masterclass today? Tell us about it. Stick around for some real Photoshop tips. Alrighty. Now with this selection, I'm going to mask out a bunch of her body. We can either use just the black to erase the majority of it, or we can use the lasso tool like we just did. But I just kind of want that little sliver of her face kind of peeking over her shoulder. Very cool, get rid of most of her cheek. Nice, and then we can use our move tool to kind of move this around. Oops, didn't get everything. Make sure we're on our mask, use black. Erase, erase. I could even make a big selection, fill it with black just to make sure I got everything out of here. Whoops. Now let's move this around. See how it's looking. Maybe move this up a bit. I need to make sure none of this original image is coming through here. Then add this face over here. This is pretty interesting. I'm wondering how I laid it out originally. Okay, so I duplicated the face and did the back of the neck there. Gotcha. Let's move this head back down. And then we're even going to mask out this face. This is the fun part. You get to just really play around and see what happens. And since we only have 7 minutes left, I'm not gonna have time to totally place these in the position that I would want. But that's okay. You get the gist. Alrighty, now I'm going to show you quickly how I did this textured brush stroke behind. Guess what? We're using masks. Very cool. Paul says we're in sync because I'm doing selections and masks. So important. Yes, we planned it. Wink, wink, wink. That's awesome. Definitely stick around for Paul's masterclass after this. He'll be giving even more tips on how to use select and mask, making some very cool things, I'm sure. Alrighty. Cool. So I'm not super happy with how these are being laid out, but again, that's all the time we have. Alrighty, so I'm over here in this paint stroke kind of file, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of this white background in a couple different ways, and then we're going to add it behind her in the original image. Now with all of these textures, it's important that we really get rid of all of the white and leave all of the black, so we have all this kind of grittiness going on. And there's a couple different ways to do that. We could do select, we could do color range, and then click on the white, and then just delete. And that gets rid of the white pretty well. That actually did a really good job. I think it's only because there's only black and only white. There's no grays in here. If there were some grays, here's a little tip I picked up from an illustration professor back in school. So if, say, you have a pencil sketch and there's like a lot of gray and there's black and there's lighter grays, you want to keep all of those darker values and get rid of the paper. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Channels. We're going to hover over the top channel, so it's either gray if it's a grayscale file or the RGB channel if it's the RGB file. I'm going to hold Command and click on it. Now you'll notice it already selected for me all of the white. And if I hit delete, it deletes all the white. Now this is really important because if I had that graphite sketch, it would keep all of the lighter and darker grays and just get rid of the white. It's a very dimensional way of getting rid of your background. All right, let's select one of these that we want to put behind her. I kind of like this one over here in the top left. So let's use our lasso tool, select it, grab it with our move tool, and just hover over our template. There we go. I'm gonna use Command T to open up my transforms, drag it, and then we can use the layers panel to just drag it below her. Nice. Now for a clipping mask. So let's do another solid fill layer. I'm gonna just duplicate this one below here because we already have one. So you can duplicate by holding Option, clicking it, and dragging it. We did that the other day, and let's choose like a nice light blue, almost white. And we're going to do a clipping mask, which we have done in previous days, but it is a form of a mask. So whatever layer you want to clip to the bottom one, you're gonna right click on it and choose Create Clipping Mask. And now you'll notice that there's only this lighter color in the brush stroke and nowhere else. And since this is a live colorful layer, we can double click the kind of swatch and change colors in real time. Super cool. So I'm gonna go back to my original where I've added a little more texture. I'm a little more happy with the composition. And I'll show you here, I also have some clipping masks. Where is it? My file's a little crazier than the one that I just showed you. But here we go. So I actually used an image. If I unclip it, you'll see that I have this kind of smoky image that it's just a preview from Adobe Stock. Clip it to it, boom, there we go. And then I'm also gonna challenge you to mock this up yourself. So in previous days, I've provided a mock-up already built for you, but since we learned how to make smart objects yesterday, what if you go to Stock and kind of search for a cool like vinyl mock-up? Here's one. You could download the preview for free and then make a smart object over this square and place your image within it. I challenge you. I would like to see what you can do. See if you've learned anything these last couple days. I hope so. I think you have. All right, let's go to File, Export. Get this going, get it uploaded on Behance. Export as. This is huge, so we're gonna make this a lot smaller. Maybe like 1200, that's about the size that we've been exporting at. We've got JPEG selected, cool, cool. Thanks, Gaston, it's a good tip. I use it all the time still, and I learned it like 5 years ago. Lynn says, are all images smart objects? Not by default. So if an image is not a smart object, if it's just a raster layer or normal Photoshop layer, you can always right click on it and convert it to a smart object. And then you can treat it like a smart object. Very cool. What's up, Lana? Good to see you. Alrighty, let's save this to our Adobe Live DCC 2020. Wow, that's crazy to think about. So this is day 4, vinyl.jpg. Export it. It's a little bit bigger, so it's taken some time. Colleen says, I've definitely learned stuff. That's what I like to hear. Definitely stick around if you want to learn even more. Oh, also, before I upload this, I wanted to give a shout out to Christina Parkinson for this amazing submission from yesterday's postcard challenge. So we made smart objects and tweaked them with a distortion transformation. And look at this. Built her own basketball court, used the hand motif. Christina, that's amazing. Kudos to you. Let's go to my profile, edit our project, get it uploaded. Yes, bravo indeed, Paco. Bravo indeed. This was my version. That was hers. Paco was joking with me earlier saying like, do you need to take a DCC? It's like, probably. I could always learn more. Alrighty, let's get this uploaded. That is from yesterday. Tried to stay organized this time and now I can't find my file. Such is life. Okay, cool. Got this uploaded. And then while that's uploading, I'm also gonna upload it to Discord so I can get some feedback. Remember to upload an image, you're just gonna click this plus button down here at the bottom where you're entering text. Perfect. We can navigate to it, upload it here, and say, I want to play with this one a little bit more. What do you think of the palette? I like the blues, but could be cool if it was like earthy colors. Who knows? So I'm out of here. Please give me feedback. I will be back Monday morning at 9 a.m. for another challenge. And then stick around for Paul's class. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to learn more about Select and Mask in Photoshop. So stay in touch on Discord, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, everybody.